Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be comparing two Tremors. One of these has the high output power stroke and the other one has the 7.3 gas V8, and we're going to decide which one is the better truck to go for, gas or diesel. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed County Ford here in Lane for giving me some time with both of these trucks. I'll put a link to the website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'll also put a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So we have Ford's craziest V8 under the hood of the first truck, and that's the 7.3 liter Godzilla V8. Goes through a 10-speed. It produces 430 horsepower and then 475 pound-feet of torque. And they now have supercharger kits for this powertrain, which makes things crazier. And then under the hood of the diesel truck, we have Ford's craziest diesel ever, the high-output power stroke 6.7 liter turbo diesel V8 that goes through a 10-speed. It puts out a whopping 500 horsepower and then 1,200 pound-feet of torque. So this powertrain has more horsepower than that has torque. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, I picked two trucks that are pretty much identical. There are a few differences when it comes to options. So you can see the 7.3, for example, has cab lights. But aside from a few differences, they're both Tremors, they're both Lariats, and so they're as comparable as it gets when it comes to specs. And they're both F350s as well. So, you know, with the Tremor packages, you've got the high clearance bumpers on both of them. We've got the 35-inch tall tires with both of them. Got the Raptor style side steps. I guess the 7.3 has the double bedside step, whereas the 6.7 truck has the regular one. But you can see here in the rear the leaf springs of the, so this is the diesel, and then with the gas truck. Interesting to see the exhaust tip difference. So here's the gas truck. I mean, it's a pretty big exhaust tip, but then look at the diesel. You got the double setup. I mean, both these are good looking trucks. They're both white, so I mean, that helps out with showing the similarities with both of them, and then same bed length as well. But what's not going to be the same is going to be the payload capacities with the trucks. So we'll open up the 6.7 truck here, and I just want to quickly show you the interior before I show the payload, so you can see that they are the same option-wise and everything. So anyways, here's the payload sticker. 3,955 pounds with the diesel, and then it has a gross vehicle weight rating of 12,000 pounds. And now we got to pop over to the gas truck. So again, Lariat interior, all the same. No sunroof in this one, just like the diesel. So I tried to pick them as comparable as it gets. 4,107 pounds of payload capacity. And then we have 11,499 for the gross vehicle weight rating. So higher payload, but lower gross vehicle weight rating. And now let's peep at the pricing. So here's the window sticker for the 7.3 gas truck, and here's the options on it, just so you guys can see what's the same and what's different with them. But you can see the total MSRP there, $78,270 with this truck, how it's optioned out. And then this leads us to the diesel truck. Sorry about the lighting there. Here, I'll pull this out here. But you can see optioned out, I mean, there's some differences, but pretty similarly, the biggest difference is that engine, $12,495. So that brings your total MSRP to $90,905 on the diesel truck. I mean, that's a pretty, put that back up there, that's a pretty substantial difference with the two trucks. So with that being said, let's take them out, drive them, and see which one performs the best. Well, we are starting off in the diesel, and then we will drive the gas truck. I know that this might seem in opposite order for some of you, but the reason I'm starting off in the diesel is this is the powertrain that has more power, more torque, crazy. I want to see if going from this into the gas, if I'm just super disappointed in the performance. Because objectively, right, the gas powertrain is going to be, I mean, it depends on where fuel prices are, but typically gas is more affordable than diesel. Then you get slightly worse fuel economy with gas compared to diesel typically, which I guess that what we can do is reset the trip. There we go. We'll do a little trip economy thing on both of them. But the gas is so much more affordable. I mean, you're over $12,000 less for the cost of the engine with the gas compared to the diesel. So yeah, I don't know. I think this way will be good. Because if the gas is not disappointing to drive, might be the route to go, right? Save yourself some money. Obviously, there's a big towing difference, right? Those gas trucks tap out. With this configuration, you're going to be in the high teens with that gas truck, whereas this is going to be in the mid 20s with the towing. So it's a pretty big difference. Then once you pop up to like the big boys, I mean, these diesels can tow almost 40,000 pounds. I mean, that's what Ford's headline figure is, but trucks that people actually buy, you're not quite 40,000, but you're up there. Whereas those gas trucks, yeah, it's in the 20s. Still impressive. Over 20,000 pounds towing is no joke, but it's also how they tow, right? The diesel's gonna not struggle as much as the gas because it has 1,200 pound-feet of torque versus 475. But yeah, I mean, I just barely have to get into this, and it's, you know, under 2,000 RPMs and just flying. It's really impressive just how much power this truck has. It's really something. It's really something. Yeah, it's nice. I like this. You do get a little bit of bumpiness. Again, it's got leaf springs and everything in the back. But yeah, the diesel, it doesn't even try. Stay up to speed to accelerate. It's just like, meh. If you want to put a 20,000 pound trailer behind me, then I'll start, you know, getting to work. But otherwise, it's like the diesel's on lunch break when you're driving it. Yeah, it's crazy the power with this thing. It's absolutely crazy. And the 10-speed's really smooth. That's the other nice thing about these diesels. It's modern 10-speed. You just look at that, it's just effortless. Absolutely effortless. I think it's really cool, if you ask me. So, I'll give you guys the fuel economy reading at the end. But to sum things up with the diesel drive so far, effortless power, sounds pretty good, and it's just a nice feel. It's crazy just how much power this truck has. So once I get back to the end, we'll see what the reading is for this, then we'll compare it to the gas truck. Not a super long test, but you know, it's better than nothing, right? It's better than nothing. Well, we've made it to the end here, and I'm guessing your fuel economy reading is going to end up at like 15. Yep, there we go. So 15 miles per gallon for the diesel. See how the gas compares to it, but that's pretty solid for, because I've done these short drives with the F-150s, and it takes the F-150s about that much time to get up to 15 miles per gallon. So man, these new diesels, they run pretty dang efficiently. It's sad that our country, or I shouldn't say our country, but our government hates diesels so much, because it's just such a solid power plant. Well, setting off in the gas truck now. Completely different feel. It's like a hot rod. And the sound it makes, the rumble, and just the responsiveness. Like the diesel has tons of torque, but you still have the turbocharged nature of that powertrain, whereas this, it's just that instant big displacement V8 naturally aspirated response. Okay, resetting the fuel economy. See how this goes. yeah, you do feel the power difference right off the bat. But I'll say I'm not complaining because, again, this sounds like a muscle car. Ford, you could do us all a real good favor and put this in a Mustang. I think that'd be pretty fun, if you ask me. I think I heard my phone go off. No, we're good. It's like, what the heck? Yeah, this is pretty cool so far. Just a hot rod. Yeah, so listen to that sound. Again, not even close to the power of the Power Stroke. But I just don't care when I hear that sound. When I just hear that V8 just build up. Just a nice clean sound too. But yeah, you're definitely gonna get higher up into the RPMs. When you've got literally over 700 pound-feet of torque less. Isn't that weird to say? Same truck, different engine, 700 pound-feet of torque difference. Like 700 pound-feet of torque used to be, like, that's still a crazy amount of torque. But like that used to be what diesel trucks had, was like 700 pound-feet, period. And now the difference between diesel and gas trucks in HDs is 700 pound-feet. The difference. Crazy. I feel like the suspension's more comfortable in this. I'm wondering if it's because it has to lug less weight. Because I mean, again, you got to remember the gross vehicle weight rating of that Power Stroke is 500 pounds more, and that's because it's a heavier truck. So you've got 200 pounds less of payload. 200 pounds less payload. 500 pounds more gross vehicle weight rating, roughly. So you're talking about a 700 pound difference with the trucks. That's pretty big. That is pretty big. It's all engine. Boy, oh boy, this V8 sounds good. So yeah, imagine the difference with the shocks and the springs you have to put on the front end with that diesel. Because that's a sign. I mean, even if you like do 100 pounds, right? 100 pounds more of one truck versus another. Like with the Ford Raptor R, that's a good example. The Ford Raptor R versus the EcoBoost Raptor, it weighs 100 pounds more, its front end. They had to put stiffer springs, 5% stiffer. So this being 700 pounds, yeah, I'm sure it's a pretty big difference with the springs on the front end of that diesel having to be quite a bit stiffer. Drives well. So I'll show you guys the fuel economy reading at the end, but in terms of performance, yeah, the diesel performs way better when it comes to just, yeah, driving around. But this more than makes up for that with how cool it sounds. And we have made it to the end, and we're gonna be seeing slightly less fuel economy. It's not that big of a difference, but there's a little bit of a difference. So wait till we get to the end here. 10.7. So yeah, you're gonna get worse fuel economy in a gas truck compared to a diesel. Everyone's known that since the beginning of time. But with the gas truck, maintenance cost is less, gas cost is typically less, not always, but typically. And then you've got a much lower cost up front. So like over the long run, gas trucks are usually less expensive to own because you're getting, so you basically, your fuel cost could be a little bit more because but at the same time, it just depends on where the price of diesel is. Sometimes it's like you're going through more fuel with a gas truck, but you're spending about the same amount to fill it up compared to a diesel. And then you have to worry about DEF with a diesel too. So the cost with diesel is just higher. So you have to really need the extra towing and, you know, want that extra performance to get that over a gas truck, because you will spend, again, objectively, you will spend more money with the diesel compared to the gas. But let me know your thoughts.